Alright, y'all. Been going through some wiring. I don't know if I got it right or not, but I'm gonna try it. Figured y'all might want to ride along, since this will be the first time in a long time this car's been cranked, if it cranks. Well, the starter hung. I don't know why though. It's the switch hung. I'm not real easy on phones, am I? Guess I didn't want to stay up there. Well, look at her. Yeah. A little smoky. Sound a little rough. I'd say it runs. I mean, I think it's in gear. So I'm gonna get under the car and see if I can figure that out, because the tires was turning like as soon as we fired it up, but it runs. Now whether it'll do a burnout today, I don't know. I think I got a little more to figure out. Y'all stay tuned. It might have a little blow by, or it might just be smoking the tranny fluid off the headers. All right, got my new gas tank installed. This pump leaks pretty good, so probably won't do nothing but fill the bowls up and run it till the bowls are dry each time. But we have got, I don't know if y'all can see that down in there. It's kind of not wanting to focus real good right there. I don't know what that is, but it's full of oil. And it seems to just be pumping it out all over the floor. And it's on the header collector, so I need to figure that out before we do anything else, because I don't really want to burn the car down. But it runs. I get that figured out where I can run it a little bit longer. Went ahead and added some water to it. It's got a little bit of a leak on the driver's side of the radiator. I got a bucket down there, but it ain't bad. It's just a little bit down there somewhere. But it's slow enough it could be drove with it. Biggest issue is figuring out why we're leaking oil all over the place. So once we do that, see if I can get it busted back off. Alright, y'all. I think that's actually like a brake distribution block. I don't even know if you guys can see me. Can you see me? How about that? That'll be better. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's a brake distribution block. I don't know where that oil's coming from, but I'm gonna fire the car back up if it'll run. I filled the bowls on the car back up with fuel and shut the pump back off. The pump leaks. I need to go get another one of these little Mr. Gasket, you know, parts store pumps. But I'm gonna actually gonna move this can. Probably a good idea. That way, in case it decides to. Maybe we won't catch on fire. I don't know. It's probably not a good spot for that. Since we got a leak, put it out of the way, right under the fire extinguisher that's over there. You know, in case it catches on fire, then you can't get the fire extinguisher. But I'm gonna fire it back up and watch for this oil leak. Everything's still good to go. So we'll see what it does. Hopefully it'll do right. Give it a little gas. Okay, it's definitely in gear. I've not figured that out yet. The key does not turn it off, so obviously I ain't got the wiring right. But I do have hot ignition now, and it sounds a little better with some gas in it. The oil leak's back here behind this booster, so I'm gonna assume it's like line that feeds to the oil pressure gauge, maybe. But it is making a mess. So I'm gonna see about that. And kind of go from there. Y'all heard it. It runs. It actually sounds like it runs pretty good. I need to figure out why it's in gear. Probably be the first thing I need to do. But y'all hang tight. We'll get back with you when we figure some more out. Alright, y'all, I should have paid more attention. This was laying in the floor of the car when I cleaned it out yesterday when I got home. The line was broke, so I kind of did the best I could to clean it up, put it back together. I don't know if it's gonna leak or not. It's kind of junk, so we'll see. But might be able to tell how much oil pressure we got if it doesn't pour oil everywhere. But we'll find out here in a few minutes. I'm gonna do a couple more things and then we'll bust her back off. All right, y'all. So I don't know if I don't know. Found this oil pressure gauge in the floorboard of the car, and found the line hanging out under behind the brake booster back here, just pumping oil out when the car is running. But got it hooked up. Turn the motor over. Don't appear to be leaking. Transmission's like bone dry. I'm wondering if that's why it ain't shifting. It ain't doing nothing. Maybe it's stuck. Hopefully it'll unstick. I don't know. I'm not an automatic guy. I don't know much about them. But I'm working on that, trying to get it topped off without, overfilling it. But it had some on the stick when we checked it yesterday. But I guess now that, which we didn't ever run it yesterday, we just spun it over, never could get it to fire. So, starting to show a little bit. I put 1.5 quarts in it so far. It's fitting to take this other half of the second quart, and then I'll check it again. We'll kind of go from there. I don't know who y'all use. This is just cheap junk because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on this if it was junk. I did get an oil change for it, so I'll probably go ahead and change the oil. But when I change if the transmission does work, then obviously I'm gonna service it. Fluid in the filter, service the rear end. I don't have any brake fluid in the master cylinder, and of course I left that at the shop. I know y'all seen the shop. We're a lot better equipped there. I'm at the house. I just got enough tools to kind of tinker. So I'm making do with what I got. I got that gauge hooked back up. It was kind of goobered up, but It doesn't appear to be leaking, so it should work. That fuel pump's leaking, so all I'm doing is filling the bowls on the carb and then take the line out of the can and let it pump till it's almost pump dry, and hopefully that way we don't leak too much. I don't want to fire. But you know, just kind of tinkering along. Old motor sounds like it's gonna run pretty good. I hope. You know, obviously it's running. It's just probably needs to run a little bit more. Kind of clean up, get a little heat in it. See if it's gonna smoke. All right, we're almost there. What am I doing? Look there. You guys got me all confused. So I'm gonna get another quart of transmission fluid. Put about half of it in there. I need to buy another drain pan. I've got 2 at the shop, or 3 or something like that, but I need to buy one for the house so I can change my oil here. Normally I take everything to the shop, but you know, it is what it is. By the way, I haven't worked on this car long. Got home with it yesterday, decided to go ahead and bring it back to the house. You know, we didn't get cranked at the barn, which probably could have, all things considered. Was a little concerned, you know, it was going to start storming and we didn't really want to get any wetter than we already had, and didn't want to have to load the car in the rain due to getting real dark and thundering. But if we'd have tinkered a little longer, which I didn't take, I should have took a multimeter with me and I didn't do that. I don't even have one here. I borrowed one from my buddy Jared. He lives right up the driveway, across the road. So we're getting there. I got it. Obviously, it's not wired correctly because when I turn the key off, it don't kill the ignition. So I've got to figure that part out. But it's working where it is. I just got to take the battery post loose to kill the car, or go in there and unplug that switch or that wire that I got hooked up, or I can just put a switch in that wire, which is probably what I'm going to do because that'll be easy. And you know, until I figure out if this is really going to run and drive decent enough to not just snatch it out, that's kind of where we're at. So this old car is rough, y'all. Like, I couldn't really get around it in the barn and see a whole lot of it, but it's bad in some bad spots, like at the base of where the door's shut, where the latches and all are, you know, where the quarter glass slides down inside the car. Some of that's pretty rough at the bottom. This whole cowl up here, base of this windshield's pretty well shot. But I don't really care. I love this stuff, you know. I love old cars, so if we can save it and make it run and drive, I mean, might as well clear coat it. I get it running, driving good, stopping, suspension, you know, get all that mess worked out where I can get in the car, crank it, go to town, come back and do all that, you know, go to Cars and Coffee and some of our little local shows, and that's what I'll do. And then as I have time, I bought a little Hobart the other day. We bought a bunch of equipment for the shop. I'm gonna bring it here, bring some wire and wire it up, bring a small gas bottle where I can cut like the bottom of the fenders off and do a little bit of patching on the car. The floor's got to be patched. I mean, you can't drive it the way it is now unless you just put some sheet metal in there and screw it down, which, don't put it past me. I'll do it. But I'm going to come back to y'all when I get this thing ready to fire back up. That way you don't get to sit here with all this boring stuff. Alright. Transmission's full of fluid, so I need to run it a little bit and then check again. Fill up power steering reservoir. Like I said, don't have any brake fluid. So definitely ain't gonna drive it today. Probably wouldn't anyway, just because there's a little bit of stuff I need to address. But it's full of water. Carburetor's got gas in it. So let's see what we can do here. Okay. Check battery, alternator's charging. We got 14 volts, so that's a good thing. I think it's burning the transmission fluid off the headers and probably the oil off of this side of this header on this side. So I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit, quit smoking. It's definitely got some blow by out of that valve cover over there. This one's got a breather, but that don't mean it ain't doing the same thing. But this old bugger runs pretty good. Probably top the water off, which don't matter because it's gonna keep leaking out. It blew a little bit of it out, but not too bad. I think I've got a analog water temp gauge at the shop. So if I do, I'll put that on here. If I don't, I'll buy one because I'd like to know how hot the motor's gonna get. I know, some of y'all, I'm sure a lot of y'all are really into hot rods, and some of y'all might, just trying to be getting into it, but the two most important gauges you can have on a motor, oil pressure and water temp. Nothing else matters. RPM, I mean, it's nice to know, but generally if you turn it till it squeaks or it quits pulling hard and you shift, you're fine. But oil pressure and water temp. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I've got two big block Chevrolets, but I've never owned a big block that actually run. I got, a 396 402, and then I've got a 427 tall deck I'd like to build one day. This is the first big block I have ever owned that ran. And it's a 400 Pontiac. Y'all should look up Jordan Fletcher on YouTube. He's a singer-songwriter from Nashville. We went to middle school together. It's one of my best friends. He's got a song called Firebird. Y'all should look that up if you like Pontiacs. It's cool. It's about his first car his daddy left him. And it was a 69 400 4-speed, black, white interior, white top Firebird. And that's the first muscle car I ever drove. And I've been hooked ever since. And I now have, it's supposed to be green, but it's a black 69 Pontiac. It's just a GTO, but it does have a 400. Unfortunately, it's an automatic car. I wish it was a 4-speed, but could change it. It ain't like we ain't got 4 speeds. And I got a parts car pedal, so. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed it. It does run. You have to stay tuned in for the next video, because I'm going to have to do some brake work and stuff before I actually can get this car out and drive it. But it's coming, y'all. I mean, when this thing first busted off today, I cleaned it yesterday when I got home. I spent probably an hour and a half cleaning it, and then got it pushed up in the garage and jacked up on jack stand. And I probably got an hour in it this morning before I actually fired it up. So a little bit more time at the barn, we probably could have got it, but we didn't really want to get rained on anymore. So I appreciate y'all tuning into the channel. Throw me a like on there, thumbs up if you're new, subscribe. We're kind of new at all this. It's just tinkering, stuff we like to do. But y'all stay watching the channel. This car will be back on the road before too long. Alright. Y'all have a good one.